Welcome back to another episode of Awareness to Action Enneagram podcast. Mario is already yawning, which makes my adjective just not work at all.
Don't take it personal, Creek.
My name is Creek.
I have this gift for being able to sleep anytime, any place, and so we better keep this moving, or you're going to lose me here.
Well, my name is Creek, and I'm with María, Skora, and María José Munita, who are ebullient. Apparently not Mario, but God, already undermining me, and I didn't even get to the intro, which would not be what a 2 does, and that's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, a 2 would not yawn in your face. Is that what
Correct.
you're saying? As soon as you start talking, yeah, probably not. Yeah.
Probably not.
Right.
Yeah. All right, so yeah, we're talking about coaching 2s today. Let's start, Mario, to keep you awake. Why don't you tell us what does it mean, striving to feel connected?
Yeah. So that is our definition of what a 2 is. And again, for us, we always look at this adaptive strategy. How does a person get their needs met? And so for the 2, they get their needs met through connecting to other people. Now, the reputation of the 2s is that they're helpers, right? They're always looking out to do things for other people, and they're always putting other people first and all these sort of things. Not always necessarily true, right? Some do and some don't. The helping kind of comes as a way of connecting very often. This is not to say that there's always an agenda behind the 2's helpfulness. Sometimes they do it just because they're a good person, but they want to know that they have an emotional bond with people. So their way of interacting with people is to pay attention to them, to notice them, to recognize them, to look for their needs when it's appropriate. So it's all about, I feel okay if I feel like you and I have some sort of emotional bond.
I just can't stop thinking about the line behind you, Mario.
Yes, folks, I've been trying to train these boomers how to be camera ready, and Mario's finally starting to put the line behind his head.
But now María José is obsessing at being off an edge
moving.
or something. If I move,
Exactly, in the middle,
Yeah. And in María José's defense, she's not a boomer, but I am.
Oh,
so,
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Careful there.
Fair enough.
She's not even close, in fact. So she's she missed it by 10, 11 years. So,
okay.
Anyway.
All right, María José, do you have any non-1 things to add to this conversation?
Of course I do. So, as Mario was saying, 2s are trying to feel connected, and they do help sometimes. It's not like some do, some don't. I think that probably everyone helps once in a while, but
sure.
2s sometimes use it as a way.
Even I help people sometimes.
Use it as a way to connect. And they do other things in order to connect as well. So they build rapport quickly or easily. Sometimes they are good at noticing kind of positive things about people and letting them know they see it. They are nurturing. They have this ability to make other people feel close. It can be through nicknames, the way they speak, how they touch you. It can show up in different ways, but it's all attitudes and behaviors that make them feel connected to other people.
Yeah. On the downside,
you were just waiting.
Some of the behaviors. Well, no, I'm just trying to move us along here. That's all.
So helpful.
On the downside here, number 1, they can have issues with boundaries. This is the thing that we most frequently encounter in working with 2s. It's issues around boundaries. Either they violate other people's boundaries, or they allow other people to violate their boundaries, right? They don't, stand up for themselves. They don't put limits on people who expect things from them, and they can demand, to be recognized, to be appreciated, to be embraced in some way. So again, there's always some negative things to all of these. A few more things on the positive side, just to be fair. This ability to recognize people and to remember the humanity of people is really, really important, especially in organizations, right? Because twos have this way of being able to say, hey, let's remember that we're dealing with people here. And let's remember that these people have feelings. And let's remember that these people have needs. And that's a good reminder, right? Because if we don't have somebody to remind us of those things, it's easy, especially when we're not connected to them or interacting with them very often, to forget about this. And what you'll see in organizations very often is, an organization's a big place and you don't interact with a lot of people, and so they can just feel like kind of statistics for you. Okay? So the two reminds us of the humanity of people, which is why you see a lot of them in human resources. You see a lot of them in sales. You see a lot of them in marketing. You see a lot of them in any kind of role that interfaces with other people.
So part of working with twos is working on the different things associated with their connecting points. Maria Jose, can you start us off with the connecting points?
Sure. So the twos, the two connecting points are point 8, striving to feel powerful, and point 4, striving to feel unique. At point 8 is the support strategy. It's things they do that reinforce their desire to feel connected. So it creates these kind of like additional force. It's like twos can be a bit forceful and kind of almost make you get their help or their point of view or what they think it will be good for you. So that attitude, it's what we call, and then it's so there's something about the two that they want to connect, they want to do things for other people so that they can do so, and they honestly think that it's for your own good. They honestly think that it's what you need. If you don't take it, they might push harder. And that's, I don't know, sometimes breaks other people's boundaries, as Maria was saying, or makes them more demanding. Like they're hoping that you will take care of them back. So it's kind of that forcefulness that comes with these 8. But it's like, if you don't love me, I'll make you love me. I'll make you connect with me somehow.
And that forcefulness is not just in negative ways. It can be in positive ways as well. And twos can be real dynamos. And I think it often surprises people when they start to see the more assertive and more dynamic and the more impactful behaviors and elements of the two, right? They come across as these nice, sweet, caring people, and you start to assume that, no, this person, is kind of a pushover or whatever. But they often have a lot of spine and a lot of assertiveness and, a willingness to, to kind of stand their ground and to push for the things that they think are right.
Yeah, and sometimes, like, the more negative aspect of it is that they feel like a martyr. I hate that word. It's
a martyr. Yeah.
I would say martyr, but anyway. So they feel like they're making sacrifices for other people and are not being acknowledged for it. So.
And this is when you can see the real negative side of the forcefulness, right? Because it can, they can lash out because nobody likes to be a martyr for too long, right? It might feel good to play the martyr for a while, but nobody wants to burn at the stake, indefinitely, so they, get forceful in order to not have to feel that way.
Yeah, the neglected strategy is trying to feel unique, and it's what they kind of avoid because they believe that it goes against striving to feel connected. So if I'm too unique, it feels like kind of isolated, and that's the opposite of connected. So I want to have things in common. I want to be connected to you. But on the other hand, I see how other people are getting recognition. I see how other people are getting attention that I'm not getting. And I feel almost envious about it. So it's like I wish I had that thing that other people do. And I want people to pay attention and focus on me, but not too much that it will drive people away. So they're kind of ambivalent about it, and they can show it, as we all do with a neglected strategy, when we are kind of feel safer, but then when it feels like it's putting our connection in danger, we kind of contract and try to get away from it.
Yeah, the 4, which we talked about last time, is always emphasizing how they're different from other people. And that's not a great way to establish connection, right? I don't, when I'm trying to establish connection with someone, I'm trying to find similarities. I'm trying to find, shared experience or shared perspective. So I'm not emphasizing how I am different. In fact, to do so seems counterproductive to the 2. So instead, I'm going to look for things that we have in common, and I'm going to emphasize those. Oh, I do that too. Oh, I do that too. Oh, yeah, I love that show. Those sort of things. And it can start to look like the 2 doesn't have their own agenda or their own perspective, and that they're, just kind of going along with people to blend with them. Now, again, as they get comfortable, they're much more comfortable expressing who they are, but that initial attempt to connect is going to be much more focused. It's going to be much more focused on avoiding differences and emphasizing similarities.
Interesting. When do you feel... maybe this is an impossible question, but just kind of whatever comes to mind. But when do you feel like you start to notice that they start becoming more comfortable talking about themselves and not so much on the other person?
Well, I want to be careful because a lot of this has to do with levels of maturity, right, or degrees of maturity. And so, we don't like to talk about levels of health, but one could think of it, as them being psychologically healthy or not. If they are under a lot of stress, if they're immature, they're going to be talking a lot about their needs and what I need you to do to help me meet them, right? And so you'll see that emphasis. So it can start early on at immature levels. It's kind of in that mid-range of maturity where you start to see this, not wanting to talk about how I am unique. Okay, it doesn't mean they're not going to talk about themselves, but they're going to focus on similarities when they are talking about themselves. Now, the thing we need to remember about the Enneagram type is that the strategy is a adaptive strategy. It helps us to get a need met or solve a problem. And when we don't feel like we don't have a problem to solve or some need to meet, we don't really demonstrate the aspects of the personality, right? I mean, when you're just sitting there on the sofa, everything's good, you're watching Netflix, you're not being your type necessarily. And so the more relaxed we become, the more comfortable we become, the more willing we are to show different parts of ourselves, okay? So it really has a lot to do with, how comfortable and secure does the individual feel, where in the 2's case, they'll start to show, oh, well, I actually like this, and I'd like to go here for lunch and all those sort of things. It's when they, and then they can kind of get into this thing where if the person says, well, I don't want to do that, then it's like, oh, geez, I never get what I want, so you can see some of that, or you can see some folding into, okay, well, we can do whatever you want. Again, depending on the situation and which of those behaviors is going to feel like it satisfies the specific need that the person has at the time.
Yeah, I think that's a important distinction. María José?
Yeah. So I agree, but just to add to that, I think that I've seen people, twos, going from not even thinking about my needs and who I am to having that be their path of development. It's like most twos know that the one thing they have to work on is getting to know themselves and what they want and going after it, asking about it, or putting their agenda first, or at least on the table. Fours kind of do that naturally. It's like who I am is kind of part of their experience all the time. For twos, it's not so natural, and they kind of avoid it because it feels like it doesn't add to connecting that much. But I've realized that when they do know themselves better, that when they do identify their needs and have them met somehow, they can connect in a healthier way. So it's like a path of development for twos. So the more they neglect developing it, the worse. And the opposite is true.
Yeah. There's a great illustration of this in the movie The Runaway Bride with Julia Roberts and Richard Gere, right? And I don't know if the character was a two or not.
This isn't Enneagram in a movie, just so you know.
I know, right, I know. But look, little crossover here, okay?
Right.
So,
okay.
All right. The character Julia Roberts plays gets the attention of a reporter played by Richard Gere because she keeps leaving men at the altar, right? She keeps getting engaged and then doesn't go through with it. And so he decides to do an interview with her and, of course, falls in love with her, etc. And one of the ongoing themes is that he would ask each of her former fiancés what are her favorite kind of eggs. And each one would say, oh, she loved fried eggs just like I do. And the next one would say, oh, she loves scrambled eggs just like I do. And the next one, she loved, poached eggs just like I do. And so the theme was she had this realization that, wow, I am, I'm even turning over what kind of eggs I like to connect with these other people. And so her healing was to go off on her own for a while and figure out what kind of eggs she really liked. Yeah,
raw eggs.
Yeah. She did the Rocky, drink them out of the glass in the morning. Right? No. She said, I love raw eggs. That's my favorite. No, she didn't. No, but it's a cheesy example, but it does illustrate that the to your point, María José, the two has to say, no, wait a minute, I need to find out what I like. I need to find out what I need. I need to find out who I am, and then feel comfortable asserting that and realize that just because I'm standing up for what I want doesn't mean I'm going to necessarily lose connection. In fact, it makes better connections because now you're connected with the real me instead of the fake me that pretends not to have needs or pretends to like a kind of egg that I don't like.
Yeah, and it's not only the fake needs, but so when I'm not expecting someone else to take care of my needs, to first of all figure them out and then satisfying them.
You should know what I want.
Yeah, of course. I'm guessing yours, you should guess mine. Mm-hmm. I do not become demanding, which is the kind of blind spot of the two. I kind of expect people to take care of me just as I take care of other people and make them feel and pay for it. And it's not something that I want to do or decide to do. It's just what happens. If I take care of my own needs, then we have a healthier, more mature relationship. We're not guessing or making somebody else guess. We're just saying what we want.
Yeah.
So we mentioned it a few times, different ones, but like strengths and weaknesses that you've found when coaching twos that you tend to end up focusing on.
So I encounter a couple of things. So the boundary issue is a big one, right? Either not setting my own boundaries or not respecting other people's boundaries. The other thing is emotionality, right? Particularly in the corporate world, it's not a place in general where emotionality is really embraced. Okay? So, you kind of have to be a bit more objective, a bit more self-controlled. And I have seen twos really struggle with feeling their feelings in public, right? And, and that can, even though, as a society, we want to see people doing that, but in certain environments, it can give the implication that they lack control, right? That they lack strength and seriousness, which is not really true just because they're emotional.
Yeah, I just want to be clear that it doesn't mean that everything is rational and we cannot be emotional. I think that what we're talking about here is a more histrionic way of showing emotions. It's kind of acting out more, which sends the message that they're not in control. There's nothing wrong with sharing your emotions, but here it's more acting out or in a more histrionic way.
Yeah. And I will say that, it depends on the emotions. I mean, I remember years ago having a client who was a very senior leader, and she was, on the leadership team of a business unit, and she would cry about things, right? She would cry in their staff meetings when things got emotional, and it just made everybody really, really uncomfortable, because, particularly the men would say, I don't know how to talk to somebody when they're crying in the board meeting, right? Kind of thing. And she was very, very good. She was very hardworking, very aggressive. She was really, really good at her work. And this tendency to slip down into emotion in that situation really hurt her. So again, we're not suggesting don't shed a tear when you're sad. That's we want to develop emotional intelligence and express our emotions, but it is something that can hurt them.
Part of emotional intelligence is understanding the context that one can express. Yeah.
So something else that we've seen is that sometimes they tend to take the support role and have a hard time leading or taking more exposed leadership positions. It's just easier to be the one helping the leader get stuff done than to be on the front row breaking eggs. It just can damage connections more easily. So it's kind of safer to stay at the back and be the one who is making a particular person succeed.
Yeah. And I want to be real clear to emphasize what you said there, Maria Jose. It's easier to keep connection in that situation. It's not necessarily easier to be the support person, right? Yeah. We're not suggesting that twos don't, and we're not suggesting that twos never take the lead, okay, and never take, the chair at the head of the table, so to speak. They do, but they can have this reluctance to do so to their own detriment, because I find it easier to stay connected and it fits my identity as being helpful by being this supporter. So often they're kind of the power behind the throne in a sense, right? Which is, again, is hard work, and it can be a way of influencing. but it doesn't get recognized, and then they can get frustrated that I'm not being recognized, even though I chose to put myself here. So working through, what do I really want here? Do I want to be that person who's in the big chair? And if so, how do I deal with this resistance that I'm feeling in doing it? Or do I really want to be the person behind the person in the big chair, and then let me deal with my frustration when I start to feel it, that I'm not getting the recognition I deserve?
And that sounds very familiar. It almost sounds like the awareness to action process.
It does sound like that. Yeah.
So,
boy, that's an ebullient segue there, Creek. So.
Hey. So talk to me about for that particular client that was crying in the boardroom. What was the process? What was the awareness to action process?
Stop it.
Yeah. Quit being a baby. So it's what it came down to was what it is, exploring what it was that she was feeling frustrated about. A lot of what she was feeling frustrated about is that she didn't feel that she and her team were being recognized, that they were not seen as important. And so her when she did cry, I mean, it's not like she did it all the time, right? But when she did, it was growing out of frustration of her people not being recognized. So we worked on building their reputation, right? Ensuring that people knew what they were accomplishing, being sure that people understood why they were important, that sort of thing. So it wasn't so much about, hey, you just got to stop crying, right? But what are some of the things that bring this out in you? Because the reason people will, in this sort of situations, have that kind of reaction. Look, some people just cry for whatever reason, right? But for her, it was this frustration of not getting my point across and not knowing what to do about it. And so by figuring out how to get her point about and know what to do, it minimized the crying.
Yeah.
So it wasn't so much about connection in that case, right? So, usually what we look at with the awareness to action process is, for example, it's a lot more clear when it's an issue of boundaries to work with the awareness to action process, right? When people struggle with boundaries, we help them see, okay, what does healthy connection really look like? Okay. Yeah. We assume that connection means, I need you to need me and you need to need me back, sort of thing. Whereas we start to, or that I don't have boundaries, okay? How, if I put up limitations on people and what I'll do for them and what they can expect from me, well, then I'll break that connection. Now, what happens in that situation is they get frustrated. Eventually, nobody can stand to have their boundaries violated all the time, so they tend to explode. Right? They tap into that more negative 8 stuff and they explode. And then what they do, they sever the connection that they're working so desperately to maintain. So in that case, the awareness to action process is I'll have better connection to people if I have better and more mature boundaries that I am constantly monitoring and constantly adjusting in order for the circumstances.
Yeah. I mean, I could see, and maybe this wasn't how the situation went, but I do, twos are big advocates for, those underneath them. And I could see you guys deserve, I feel my connection is threatened because you guys deserve to be seen and valued for what you do. And that's frustrating. So maybe that's not what was happening, but yeah.
Well, should have been better off with you as a coach in that situation.
I was going to say, but all right. So let's keep moving here. The accelerators.
I just wanted to add that sometimes it's very evident when what María was saying happens. It's like I don't assert my boundaries and then I explode and that connection is over. Sometimes it's it's more subtle, and I kind of start avoiding people, or I kind of pull away. So it's less perceptible, the loss of in connection. But when they see it, they realize, so I'm not taking care of my boundaries, but then because I want to take care of the connection, but now I am getting away from this person because I don't want to be around people like this, or people who do that, or I don't want to be exposed to this. So it's both things. I can just finish or cease the connection, or I can just pull away, and they don't realize that they are doing that. So in order to stay connected, I need to set some boundaries.
Yeah, so you all have accelerators for each point in the Enneagram. So what would be the accelerator for point 2?
It's cognitive empathy. So 2s have a natural tendency to feel empathy, but many times they're just projecting what they think you need instead of really noticing or understanding what the other person truly needs. So the exercise here, the accelerator, is just try to understand what the other person needs. You can have a really good guess, but check with the other person, confirm that that's what they truly need, and not just feel what the other person needs. You might be really wrong. You might kind of be forcing things on people that it's not what they need. And sometimes they need you to be, stronger, or they need you to set a boundary and not just give them everything they want.
Yeah, it really is about reading, with empathy. It's something we feel, but we can be feeling it for the wrong reasons, like María is saying. And so the 2 has to avoid the trap of assuming that what they're feeling is an accurate reflection of the situation. So you check. Okay, you look cold, right? Are you cold? Would you like a blanket? Instead of, here, take this blanket, kind of thing. So, it's checking. And then we calibrate. Oh, okay. Well, Creek just looks that way sometimes. Doesn't mean he's necessarily cold, right? So,
right. Yeah.
So,
that's something people stop me on the streets, actually. And
would you like a blanket,
cold,
young man? Yeah.
No, that's just my soul. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Any final words?
So I think we always like to think about the 2 connecting point accelerators as well when we talk about the accelerators. So at point 4, like we talked about last time, it's disidentification. Okay, so with the 4, it's recognizing the ways in which they compare themselves to others, or they're defined by others, etc. This is also good practice for 2s, right? Because they can often assume that my value is based on who I am connected to, or who I am affiliated with, or who I am a reflection of. And it is a good practice for them to start saying, no, I don't have to be connected to somebody else to be important. I don't have to be in somebody else's shadow in order to be valuable, and so forth. So recognizing that tendency to identify with other people. And at point 8, we'll talk about this. I guess we're doing that next, maybe, for following the lines, right? So it's around self-discipline, learning to manage myself, learning to check myself, learning to practice these things that we're talking about in a disciplined way.
Yeah, and that can help in things such as, when they start worrying about everybody else's problems, for example. It's like they just need to be the ones sometimes kind of doing everything for everyone. and just choosing, having the self-discipline to focus their efforts in some things and not just everything, because it will make me feel more connected to more people. And at the end of the day, it doesn't, but that's how it naturally feels.
Yeah. And just a reminder to everyone out there, we are on video, so you can watch and see if Mario's head is in line with the line too. So, and you can also leave in the comments below, how do you like your eggs? We really want to know. We really want to know. So, until next time.
Can I just say before we wrap up here?
All
okay,
right.
sorry. No, I this is an important point to make, because we have to be careful about assuming that all twos are soft and only helping other people and only putting themselves in their background. There are a lot of very effective, very powerful, very forceful twos out there, and a lot of people who don't seem like twos at first glance because they are assertive. So we want to be really... What's that?
Or they're a man.
Or they're a man, yeah. I mean, I guess the examples I used were women, but there are just as many male twos as there are female twos, we think. So we want to be really careful just to make sure we're not painting the picture that they're soft or weak or ineffective or something like that, just because they want to connect to people.
Yeah. Do I have your permission to stop the podcast?
That's all I got to say about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. 3, 2, goodbye. See you next time.
Bye.